Hey guys, Richard Seller here again with your hot take on a Tuesday morning, November 29th, 2017. Um, yeah, I woke up this morning and I was watching, I forgot what it was, the Today Show, and breaking news as it's coming on, Matt Lauer. Matt Lauer is, the face of morning news, the face of all that is supposed to be right in America. America's consummate reporting professional. And I was sitting down with my daughter, who's 13, and I had to explain to her what in the living heck is going on. Because for kids especially, a lot of this stuff with Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein, it's background noise. But my daughter, who watches the news every morning with my wife while she's getting ready for school, as does my son, and don't forget the dogs, uh, identifies with Matt Lauer. So this one sort of struck home. And she said, Dad, what does it mean? What did he do? And while there's no details yet, I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that this is some text and some emails to a subordinate that works, in the studios, asking for either sexual favors or nude photos. I don't get it. There has to be something categorically wrong with what's going on in Hollywood and in the news game and in sports and in politics. And the basic premise seems to be this: men of power have this delusion that they can take what they want when they want it. And to me, it goes back to simple dating 101. Like, don't you want to be with somebody who wants to be with you for you? Or what is the get off in forcing somebody to be with you because you hold a position of power or celebrity? I get the power angle of it. It's almost like, let me demean this person. I get that, but to digress, last night I was watching a documentary on Jim Carrey regarding Andy Kaufman. It was a behind-the-scenes look. It's actually pretty good on Netflix. And it sort of all came into focus where he talked about being at the height of his celebrity after he had made Ace Ventura and The Mask, and he made 3 movies in the same year that were all blockbusters, which really put him on the map. And he said, I found myself at that point of reaching every dream I'd ever wanted, that I was the most miserable. And I think this is really the point or the hit of where it all comes into play. It's this notion that money and fame buy happiness. And I think we've seen time and again that that's not the case. So interesting to see Matt Lauer now in the news. And the point here is, how do you explain that to your kids? How do you explain that simply because somebody has money, fame, or power, that they can do what they want and up until now seemingly get away with it? And that's a tough discussion for, a young woman, with a young teenager, and even with my son who sees this and, look, he's going to be 16. He's certainly no angel, but he understands the concept of respect for women and right and wrong. And it's troubling that it's now creeping into areas of their lives at such a young age. When we were kids, meaning we, the collective we, those of us with gray hair, this is not something that was heard about. And as a kid, it's not something you address, but just absolutely stunning. So let me tie this into the workplace, because otherwise I'm just another rambling bum on the internet, and who cares what I have to say. So In the last 2 days of work, I've had two situations walk into my office as these types of situations are gaining steam. One of them was a young lady who went to go see a marital lawyer because she was in the process of a divorce. And she didn't have enough money to pay midway through the divorce. So this creepy guy, this divorce lawyer, and I'm not going to mention names because from what I understand there's about to be some litigation ongoing on this topic and police charges have been filed, said something to the effect of, well, perhaps you can pay in cum. There's also an allegation that he then proceeded to put his hands under this woman's shirt onto her breasts and attempted to negotiate the payment owed through other ways. And when I met with this woman, I found myself questioning her story. No, this doesn't happen. And the crazy thing about it is, this is exactly why people don't come forward, is because even the lawyers that they're coming to have doubt. Can this really happen? Can a lawyer actually say that to a client and put his hands on her? And then the next day, a client came in and advised me that she was working for the mayor of a city, and he started very quietly patting her on the behind when she would walk by, whispering into her ear, asking her if she liked anal sex or oral sex, requiring her to meet him after hours, at which point he forcefully took her hand and put it on his penis, and then put his hands between her legs. And then when she objected to it and said, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" she was gone shortly thereafter. And I questioned her too. And I think this is kind of what's wrong. Look, we live in a day and an age where you got to take everything with a grain of salt. But I felt gross questioning her over and over again with the, "You're telling the truth, right?" Or "You understand that if you're lying, it's going to come out," because this is going to likely be a high-profile media case. So then I felt guilty after she left. I said, this is why people don't come forward, is because nobody believes them. Now, as lawyers, we have ethical obligations to make sure we're not perpetrating a fraud on the court. But people don't come forward in the workplace because they fear that nobody's going to take them seriously. And this is the big part of the problem. So I know I've already dished in another video about this sexual harassment coming forward, see something, say something. I get it. But after Matt Lauer broke this morning, for me, it was sort of full circle that I had two clients in the last 2 days that came to me, and I kind of didn't believe them until they could substantiate the allegations. And then, Matt Lauer breaks this morning. So the universe is working in strange ways, and who am I to fight it? So I figured I'd give another chat on this. In any event, guys, we're always here for you. If you have questions about what's going on in your workplace, it doesn't have to be sexual harassment. It could be you see something illegal, fraud, you're not being paid properly, they stole your commissions, your wages. Email us, call us, Richard at FloridaOvertimeLawyer.com, www.FloridaOvertimeLawyer.com. I'm going to try to do these fairly regularly. I'll try to be a little more dressy, but it's chilly here in Florida. I know those of you who are watching up in the Northeast are probably laughing at our 77-degree claim to chilliness. Big weekend for Miami Hurricane football, Clemson ACC championship game. As always, let's go Canes. And stay safe out there, and it's a crazy world. Hope everybody's managing their way through it. Be well.